So one of the joys of flow rope is that once you have learned enough different patterns and you have the competency to do each of them in like a reasonable way, note that it will get better. Your movement patterns will become smoother and smoother over time. Just the more you do this, the smoother you're going to get. And by the way, it can take like a year to get to the point where you look really fluid and smooth. So be patient. But as we're practicing, it can be really fun to put those swings together in a way that you can flow them in it feels like one continuous flow or one continuous workout. So what I'm going to show you today is we are going to combine our underhand and overhand figure of eights, our 2-beat matadors, our 3-beat matadors. We're going to use the propeller as a transition from side to side. We're also going to include the bowler and the golfer in this one as well. I'm not going to include cheetah tail yet because there are some transitions in and out of cheetah tail that I haven't taught you yet. So after I teach you those transitions, then we will add the cheetah tail to this swing or this pattern as well, and it'll become even more fun. But I suggest that you practice this, like now that you have all these patterns down, start practicing this flow pattern, and then at the end of the course, we'll add even more to it. So again, we're going to start in this propeller motion. And note that when I'm doing a counterclockwise propeller. And when I do a counterclockwise propeller, if I turn my body to the right, I'm in an underhand pattern. So here I am in an underhand figure of 8, coming off the propeller, and I can just practice. I'm shifting my weight. I'm letting my body get into it, dancing with the rope. And then when I come back to the center, I'm in my propeller. I can stay here as long as I want. And then as I shift to the left, I end up in this overhand pattern where now I'm doing an overhand figure of 8. And again, stay here as long as you like. Practice till it feels good. And then you can come back to the center. And now as I come into my underhand direction, I'm going to do an underhand matador. So I can start just with the underhand figure of 8, and then I start with the matador, which again is 2 beats on each side. And note that it's mostly driven, like if this swing is still a little bit awkward for you, note that the majority of the movement or the motion is being driven by the underhand, which makes sense, right? Because it's the underhand matador. So the hand that is underneath is the one that's doing most of the work. What I've seen when I've taught people this in person is that you'll want to dominate with your dominant hand. And if that's the right side, then when you're on your left, if your right hand is trying to dominate this movement, it'll feel even more confusing. So let the hand that's underneath be the one that's doing most of the driving on that. And now we're back to neutral in our propeller. And as I switch to the other side, again, I'm going to be doing the overhand matador. And the overhand matador is driven, the main motion of it is driven by the hand that's on top. So over, over, over. And if you let your wrists relax a little, you can lead with your wrists on that. So again, in this workout, you can stay here for as long as you like. And then when you're ready, come back to the center. Now we're going to go into the 3-beat matador. And as I'm turning right, I'm going to be in the underhand side. So now I'm doing an underhand, or sorry, the underhand 3-beat matador. And that's where I'm pulling my underhand back. And that's what separates the rope out, like there. I pull that back, underhand back, and then overhand goes over. And there's your 3-beat underhand matador. Staying here as long as you want. And then when I'm ready, I come back to the propeller. And now I'm going to do the 3-beat overhand matador on the other side. So now I'm in my overhand direction. And I switch to my 3-beat pattern. And again, notice what I'm doing with my wrist leading it with the back of my wrist as it crosses over my body, it ends up being the hand that is underneath that leads it over. And this is just a coordination drill, getting which hand is leading. You might end up being ambidextrous after this course because your brain's going to understand how to work both hands in the lead, which is really cool. So now I come back to the propeller. And the thing is this, the bowler and the golfer are underhand patterns. So I'm going to be starting them both from this side. So as I come up to the bowler, and I'm just doing it in the paradiddle pattern. So it's sort of every third swing, switching it off. The key to the bowler, if you remember, is getting that upper hand behind your head and getting it as high and as far as you can behind your head. That's where the mobility magic lies. So again, practice as long or as little as you like in the bowler. And then if I come back, well, let's do it like this. So I'm in my my underhand pattern, and from here is where I can practice the golfer. And you can decide if you like practicing the golfer as a continuous pattern like this, where every time you're letting the rope swing behind you, or if that makes you dizzy, you can sort of go in the paradiddle pattern instead. So I'm switching sides this way, and what that's doing is it's just preventing me from getting too dizzy. So you practice the golfer on both sides. And again, I love the golfer for the mobility and the rotation that I get through my torso when doing the golfer. So there you go. That is a really cool workout. We are going to continue to build on that with more patterns that you're going to be learning when we get to the module that teaches you all the overhead patterns. I'll show you how to incorporate overhead patterns, and that'll sort of be the culmination video where you'll have a workout that you can follow along to at the end of this course, where you have almost all the patterns combined into like one continuous flow motion workout that you can just go outside and do. And in 10 minutes, you can have yourself completely opened up, feeling ready to hit the world and be productive for the day, moving really well. So have fun with that.